Hi friends, today I want to introduce you to a tool that I've used. It's a video that I've used many times in an effort to help another person understand trauma, and the way that we become sort of activated and hypervigilant. If you are a person who has lived with trauma, experienced trauma, have PTSD, if you are parenting somebody who has PTSD and maybe was adopted out of trauma or something like that, this is a good tool for understanding, somebody in your life who deals with sort of an activation in their biology based on their trauma history, or if you yourself deal with like hypervigilance as part of anxiety or trauma response. This is a video that I think demonstrates in a really concrete way, an easy to grasp way. So what it is, we're going to begin. Well, the whole thing takes place on a pathway, and it's music that we're paying attention to. So this is the video that I'm sharing, and you can see a little pathway here. And so I'm going to play the video. Just noticing the tone of the music is what we're paying attention to. Just notice the way that your body reacts as that's playing. Kind of peaceful, calm. Think about how that music makes you feel about the environment, that if you imagine yourself walking along this path or driving along this path, how does the music speak to that or resonate with that? Now we're going to cover that same scene with different music. Same journey, same setting. What does this music bring up for you? Now what kind of music is it? And it's got a little overlay. Okay, so that video is called Shark Music. And the point really, doesn't probably need much of an explanation. Let's see, how do I get that to go off? There we go. Probably doesn't need a lot of explanation. Want you to understand um, kind of what is happening as relates to that. So what it's trying to depict is, especially if you think about the concept of hypervigilance, for somebody who lives with anxiety or comes from a trauma history, the amygdala, the lower part of our brain that is in charge of assessing, right? So we're feeling creatures who think. We're not thinking creatures who feel. We are feeling creatures who think. And as we take in all of our information, we process it through our limbic system and go, are we in danger or not? Are we okay or not? We, meaning internally, our internal parts. Am I okay? I don't want you to think like dissociative identity disorder. Am I okay? And so it comes through the limbic system. And first we assess, am I in safe setting? And if I am in a safe setting, then I can gain access to my higher functions, and I can get in touch with my the upper levels of my brain, including my prefrontal cortex, and all of the access to our vocabulary and our sense of humor and our ability to do math equations, right? That all first we have to assess if we're safe, and if we are safe, then we can get into the higher level function of the brain. So I I show this a lot to parents who are taking on a kiddo out of the foster care system or adopting somebody from trauma, and it's an easy way for somebody to understand like the physiology of a person with that history. Let's say an abuse history. The physiology is like they're living with shark music. Everything feels scary and foreboding, and I don't know what's around the next corner, but it's gonna be terrifying. And then the system takes that information in and prepares for that with either avoidance or shutdown or dissociation or aggression. However it comes out, the reason it's coming out is because of that. It's coming in through the limbic system, through the assessment of danger. It stops there. I'm in danger. There's a very real potential for danger. So it actually makes it harder to gain access to the higher level of functioning. So when we're encouraging parenting for kiddos with that history, we want to first calm down the nervous system. We're not going to be able to get to the other stuff that we're trying to do if we can't get the nervous system to calm down. So basically we need to turn off the shark music and put back the gentle music, right? The all is well in the world. That is the physiology, and the first part of the video, the physiology that allows us to engage in healthy relationships, to lay in a healthy template for how we're going to relate to ourselves and to the world. Ability to think and do academic work, to be a good student, or to, explore different topics of interest. All of that needs calm physiology. So, and then for people who struggle with anxiety and hypervigilance, the same thing. Like, we're not going to think our way past the shark music. We can't think our way out of that problem. Well, people who've done like a ton of mindfulness exercises, who have a really like anchored prefrontal cortex. If you don't know the hand model of the brain, I have a video on that to learn Dan Siegel's hand model of the brain. If this part of your brain, right, is anchored well, you can do some top down. But for most of us, we're flipping that lid and we don't have access to that. So to get access to that, we have to calm down the internal part of our brain, the amygdala, the limbic system, right? Deep in the brain to get that. And then we can get the prefrontal cortex back in place. So we're not going to think our way into that. We have to feel our way into that. And if your starting position is imposed with shark music, metaphorical shark music, we got to get that calmed down. We want to hear, we want to have a calm vibe. I am personally somebody who lives with anxiety. The shark music is playing all the time. Not literally the shark music, but like the fear is like, it's so prevalent that I will often tell people when they experience that part of me, like, anxiety is my love language. That is how I enter the world, is empathy and anxiety. And the intermix is really interesting. So if you are a person like me that struggles with anxiety and hypervigilance, I would encourage you to kind of think back through that shark music video and where the shark music is, the metaphorical shark music is playing in your life. Because in anxiety, it's a constant. It's constant. And we deserve to develop the tools to get that managed, to be resourced enough that isn't flipping our lid constantly, because our physiology isn't meant for long-term anxiety. The human body can get anxious, be fearful, have a reaction, and then it's meant to calm back down. It's not meant to stay in a heightened state. That's not good for us. That's dumping cortisol into our system, the stress hormone. That's not good for all the rest of our physical functions. So if you are a person who struggles with that, I just want to encourage you to notice it, and then either do some work on that for yourself, or maybe go sit with a therapist or go to some group counseling around anxiety, and get that under control. There are a lot of good techniques. You can see even I'm doing one right now, which is a technique that I use to calm down my physiology, to reassure myself, like, I got you, we're okay. We can learn little resourcing tools to help calm that down. And then if you're parenting somebody with a trauma history, or you love somebody with a trauma history, it's good to understand the metaphor of the shark music. I hope you found that helpful. I'll see you on the next one.